Okay, this is class problem 1 from chapter 9, and it's a meat and potatoes inventory difference between variable and absorption costing problem. Okay, it's a perfect problem to really understand the way this works. So this is problem 1 for ABC Company, and the information that we have is that direct materials is $5, direct labor $3, variable overhead, selling costs. The selling price is $25 per unit, and 1,600 units were sold. Fixed selling costs is $2,000 for the period, based on 2,000 units produced, and fixed overhead is $4,000 for the period, based on 2,000 units produced. Okay, so the first thing that I did here was add up my cost. This is not fixed, this is absorption. So first is variable, my variable cost. And under variable costing, that includes variable selling. So I've got direct material, direct labor, overhead, and variable selling for an $11 per unit variable cost. Okay? And then under absorption, I've got direct material, direct labor. This is, what's that? Variable overhead and fixed overhead. Okay? So that's fixed manufacturing overhead, and that's variable manufacturing overhead for $12. Okay, that's my cost. And the number of units that we sold were 1,600 sold. Okay, 1,600 sold. So my sales would have been 19, or my cost of goods sold would have been 19.2. So let's take a look at the comparison now. Under variable costing, I've got sales for $25 per unit times 1,600 units is $40,000. And then variable cost is $11 per unit times $1,600 is $17,600. Gives me a contribution margin of $22,400. Okay, so sales less variable cost, and the variable cost is everything in there. So it's you can't see it. It's direct materials, direct labor, variable overhead, and variable selling. Okay, all variable costs. So remember that the way this works is that what goes on the top, this is organized by cost behavior. So variable on the top and then fixed on the bottom. Okay, everything here is variable. And everything on the bottom of the statement is fixed. And our fixed costs, our fixed selling and fixed manufacturing overhead was $4,000 for the period. Yeah, so $4,000. And we deduct it in full. This does not come out per unit. So our net income or operating income under variable costing is $16,400. Okay, now we'll do it under absorption costing. Again, my sales are $40,000. My cost of goods sold this time was the $12 in absorption costing times 1,600 units, or 19.2. So here is my cost of goods sold. My gross profit, as opposed to a contribution margin, this is gross profit, is $20,800. Variable selling is $1,600, and fixed selling is $2,000. Okay, so my operating income under absorption costing, I should write this down, huh? This one's operating income. Under absorption costing is $17,200. So there's a difference between the two because of the fixed manufacturing overhead that's attached to units in inventory. Okay, we produced 2,000 and we sold 1,600. Okay, so if we did a quick T account here, we produced 2,000 and 1,600 are sold. This is inventory. So I've got 400 in ending inventory. Or not beginning, that's production right there. First year of operation, so we don't have any beginning inventory to worry about. Okay, so now let's take a look at the reconciliation, which you need to be able to do. We produced 2,000, we sold 1,600, so we've got 400 units in inventory. Fixed manufacturing overhead per unit is $2 per unit. So the amount of fixed manufacturing overhead in inventory is $800. So if I take my variable net income and add the 800, I get the 17.2 that is the absorption costing net income. Okay, so this is a good problem. I mean, it's just a good way if you're a little shaky on anything with absorption accounting or fixed. You know, for manufacturing, this is a good problem to get yourself organized. So now we've got a second year. And in the second year, we've got all the same costs here. I did it again because that's the way I am. So we've got $11 per unit for variable costs, $12 per unit for absorption costing, times 2,200 gives us cost of goods sold of $26,400. Okay? So let's move it up now. Here's our variable costing. Now, oh yeah, the important thing is we sold 2,200 units. Where does it say that? Yeah, 2,200 units sold. Okay? It's up here. That's the number of units sold. So we produced 2,000 and we sold 2,200, so 200 came from our beginning inventory. Sales are 2,200 times 25, that's 55,000. Here's our variable cost, 2,200 times 11. So our contribution margin is 30,800. Okay, fixed selling is 2,000, fixed overhead is 4,000, where we're deducting this in full, remember, right? And net income is 24,800. Okay, so now let's go to absorption. I wish I could see your faces, and I knew if there were any questions there. But sales are 5,500. Cost of goods sold is 26,400, because we figured it out up above. So my gross margin is 28,600. Variable selling is 2,200. Variable selling, $1 per unit. Oh yeah, variable selling was up here before. It was in the variable cost. And then fixed selling is 2,000. So these are product cost here, product cost, and these are period cost. Okay, by cost function. Whereas with variable costing, it's by cost behavior. So this is variable and then fixed. So it's just a different way to organize it, but the difference is the fixed overhead attached to inventory. So now if we look at our inventory account, we started out with 400 units in beginning inventory. They produced 2,000. And then they sold 2,200. So we've got 200 units left in ending inventory. So we actually, liquidated 200 of those. So here's my variable costing is 24,800. I've got 200 units at $2 per unit of fixed cost, $400. That brings us to our absorption costing net income. And in this case, the units sold are greater than the units produced. Okay, units sold are greater than units produced, so therefore variable cost is greater than absorption costing. And that's in a period of rising prices, okay? In a period, actually the same, aren't they? Yeah, let's just leave it like this. I don't think it can go otherwise, but you know how this is. Okay, folks, that's it.